Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto video. I thought it was time to give you guys a quick little rundown of what's going on with Terra, Luna 2.0. Fun fact, I actually made tens of thousands of dollars with this drop. How, you might ask? Well, because I was a previous UST/Luna holder, and to be honest, it was actually pretty profitable. That having said, it's been pretty sad. I honestly expected it to have a lot more positive feedback, even though I myself am never going to buy this crypto. At the end of the day, people are not so happy with it. It's not so surprising, but I really honestly thought that maybe he could actually revamp it. So what's the rundown? What's going on right now? So for all of you that do not know, Luna basically went for a new plan to just catch, or I guess kick, UST completely out of its system and go for a completely new blockchain. This was called Luna. Right now, the old Luna became Luna Classic. And so they've generally basically, long story short, they basically just said, you know what, we messed up. Let's think of a new idea and let's kind of get a system going by giving all our old holders some new tokens to create some new value in this new ecosystem. The problem is, well, the majority of network participants weren't really excited about the network anymore. And so when you switch over to something new, there's really no more utility, because what exactly brings the good side to Terra, the good side to Luna? Well, obviously the UST was a big part of it, and the fact that it was so quote-unquote trustworthy, had the big back, and it had the good projects, such good community with trust and whatnot. Now the trust is broken, community is divided, there's no more UST. What exactly are you left with? It's a new blockchain, so you can't actually say, oh, that's so reliable, that's been foolproof or whatever. It's a completely new thing. Then again, the price is acting quite positively, which is why I sold about 70 or so or 80% of my Luna that I got. Again, guys, I got myself a couple tens of thousands of dollars with this, which is not really close to recouping my loss. I would say it's about maybe 5% or so, but it's still something nice. You know, it's a little gift to me. Like, hey, you know what? Big middle finger, but then they're like, you know what? Here's a little washcloth to at least wipe off the stains from my ass after they, let's not go further than that one. Oof. Yeah, so that took a little bit of a darker turn than I expected, but okay. As it currently stands, Terra Classic is basically, valueless. I'm not sure what else to call it, and there's no reason for the price to go up. So if you're still holding this crypto, not finished advice, but get rid of it. The only way in which it's going to pump is if the community comes together and does a little GameStop type of thing. But it's rather big, it's still $600 million worth of a market cap. But there's literally nothing coming for this thing, so it's definitely better to just sell it, let go. Because who's going to do something about it? Nobody, since they created a completely new coin, and they're just going to basically let this one die out. Again, guys, I'm still holding a very large amount of this USD Terra Classic or whatever. It's still, right now I'm going to say it's about $50 worth. It's about 2 million UST or whatever. I think something like that. Maybe it's a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. You guys get the idea? Which is obviously why I got a pretty good chunk of this new Luna as well. I think it's derived from that, right? I don't even know. I just looked in my wallet, in my Terra Station wallet, looked at the newest chain, and I saw a lot of Luna was in there. I went to go move some to just quickly sell it. But actually, fun fact, that was in my Terra Station wallet, basically, I actually left. And then the ones I had on the exchange, which is a lot of other Luna/UST that I had, that I sold, basically. Which is why I'm saying I sold mostly about 60 or 70%. But there's a good chunk still left. But basically, there's nothing more coming for USDT, UST. It's a little bit confusing now with the USDC, with everything like that, but there's nothing more coming for it. So I still hold a freaking ton of it with some wishful thinking. The majority of my friends stole at like 30 cents and 60 cents and whatnot. I'm like thinking, well, what am I going to do with a couple $1,000, right? I'd rather just let this one slide and see if somebody's eventually going to pump it up now, because I'm basically too late to sell it. As I've said before, most of the time when I'm down about 99% of my investment, I just refuse to sell. Right now I'm down 98% of my investment, and I also kind of refuse to sell and just like, I'll accept the loss for whatever I took. I'll be like, you know what? Made a mistake, but we'll make it back more. We learned from this one, to make billions, you have to invest millions in. Well, we made a little bit of a mistake, but hey, it can happen, right? So what's going on with Terra then? Like with the Do Kwon, with the founders getting charged? A lot of investigations from South Korea going at him, but nothing really conclusive. I mean, you'd think Bernie Madoff got into so much trouble, and the investors got a lot of their money back. Well, he didn't really give any people their money back. Why is he not getting into trouble? Apparently, Terra insiders are blaming Do Kwon of rising through nepotism, and they're basically all saying, well, he made a big mistake. He's making a lot of money because of all of this. Get this man locked up. That's what a lot of people are saying, man. And again, making mistakes is very much human, but in the way, like the sequence of mistakes that he's made were so haunting to many investors that so many people were hurt because of it that it's basically a criminal act almost for making such drastic mistakes that hurt people so bad. But again, it's not my choice to make here. If it was up to me, it isn't up to me, so it doesn't matter. There's a lot of people who are also now trying to point out exactly where he made a couple of sketchy ass things. For example, Fat Man Terra is over on Twitter to basically point out every single thing, every single freaking stone that Do Kwon has ever flipped in his life as a child, right? Whatever freaking thing Do Kwon was looking at ever in his life, this Fat Man Terra has everything summed up. This man is a freaking maniac, all right? You do not want beef with this man because he's going to find out where your parents live and he's going to lick their fingers, all right? He's going to lick their toes or something like that. This guy is crazy. This man has been tickling feet for a little while, and right now Do Kwon is on his radar. He's not letting go, I swear to God. So if you just scroll through for a little bit, you're starting to notice it is wild, all right? It is really, really wild. It's also funny to see Jump Capital talk about a lot of this stuff regarding, for example, how Anchor's reacting to all of this and how much money is still flowing in and flowing out. But to come back on it, a lot of people are now pointing out to some of Do Kwon's earlier investments and some of his ventures in which he basically put a lot of money into things, and they're calling out where he might have actually knew or known that a lot of things were wrong and he went for it anyway because of money reasons. It is hard to say. I'm not going to comment on that. All I'm saying is, well, he's definitely not in the best light right now. Which again makes me quite surprised why the price of this coin is holding up so well. It is $1.4 billion worth, when in reality, we've just proven that this man has absolutely no value in the real world anymore. He's made a couple of key mistakes. He's not really capable of running a network. You might say, well, but it's the validators or blah, blah, blah. But with what idea? With what? Like, what's the big thought behind Luna? That it's a meme? That it has some community? But backed by what? Or what's the idea? Why would anybody be excited about this chain? Because it's fast or what? The way I see it, the moment that something starts to go wrong, they'll just go for Luna 3.0 and you're going to just gonna lose all your money again. By the way, that Jump thing, it's going really deep, by the way. If you have not read up on the Jump crypto conspiracy, oh my days, you'll be here for a couple more days. Well, early Terra investor Jump Crypto concludes UST's depeg was accelerated by a strong Bitcoin market sell-off. We can go really deep as to what exactly caused this to happen, but all we need to know is, well, how do we prevent ourselves from getting screwed like this in the future? And by the way, if you're noticing, from the start of this video up to now, the light is slowly fading as the sun is going under, and I did not set up my light setup yet because I didn't expect it, right? But it's still light enough to make the video, I guess. You're slowly starting to see it become less HD. What they're doing right now, a lot of people are just not really accepting their loss, and they're trying to look into what exactly went wrong to, prevent it from happening in the future. And I said before, how can we prevent ourselves from this happening? Long story short, don't trust the founder's words for something, all right? Often in the VC game, which is the one I play quite often, if you guys do not know, my main job in the world, I guess, is to invest in things. You have to trust in people. You have to trust in their vision and just like the people for what they are and what they say and what motivation they show. At the end of the day, though, you know as well as I do, and many people know this, you can't really trust any freaking word of what they say. If an investor comes up to you, if I guess a project comes up to you and says, we want to do this, that, it's all wants. It's all like I plan to or whatnot. It's about what they've showcased in the past that decides the future. And with a lot of these things, it's like, it's only good until it starts to go bad, right? So how can you prevent this from happening? Well, you really can't completely. All you can do is try to prevent as many freaking sketchy projects as possible and see when things are too good to be true to kind of prevent them from going into them. But there's a caveat to that as well, which is, well, but very often these things in crypto are very good and they're not too good to be true. Plus, the fact that it's worth a try, even though it might not have it last forever. For example, I've tried a lot of these schemes that I know have been a scam from the start, but I'll invest into them and go for them, try to make money. Same thing for Shiba Inu, right? I invested in that at the start, put $100 in. It did amazing. It did really amazing. Then I knew that was like a quote-unquote garbage thing from the start. Sure. Is it still garbage? I believe so. Can they upgrade from that? Yeah. I honestly think they can. I think they can become quite a serious thing over a prolonged period of time. But the point is, I went in with the idea that it's shitty, and it ended up being shitty, but it ended up really being good profit-wise. With the Luna situation, I thought it was pretty solid. But in hindsight, if you look back, you're thinking, well, a lot of these things just don't make a lot of sense. If things start to dump, it's like, yeah, okay. But so the same thing goes for a lot of other projects that I sometimes look at and think, well, but could they really survive every single thing? But that's the thing, though. A lot of these things will not survive every single thing in the same sense that Apple or a Amazon or whatever. A lot of these companies will not survive anything. They will survive most. There's a, like a throttle point or whatever as to where they just collapse or do really, really bad. With crypto, it's the same thing. Almost none of these cryptos will survive anything for a short amount of time. Like a Luna, for example, it could have actually recouped if we took a longer period of time and if they reacted swiftly, which these bigger companies will surely do. This has just got to do with the founder being kind of inadequate to react properly to a very bad situation. Otherwise, you could have salvaged it. Almost any project can really falter if the reactions to whatever disaster happens are not swift and proper. Solana has failed, sort of within quotations, many times. But their swift action, swift communication, and I guess knowledge in the system made it basically revamp and upgrade and do good every single time. A lot of projects work this exact way. They might fail at some point or another, but they are fast to recoup and fast to bring themselves back upwards. With Luna, they were just too slow and acted in a really strange manner, which made them fail. Had there been another attack like this, with the knowledge that they have right now, it would have most likely been easy to fix and easy to hold, steady, and they would have most likely learned from it and then back things up more properly. But they didn't get the chance because they already messed up basically the first time, But yeah, there's just one thing I wanted to quickly make clear. There's so many analyses as well as to how the entire flow went and whether or not it was all one big show. I do still believe that this was kind of an inside job from some perspective because there's so many people with a very big bias towards making this fail, or why it would have helped them out basically. I still am also not ruling out that Do Kwon was just a big money hungry fool, but at the end of the day, we will not know for certain. All we can do is speculate, and at the end of the day, I'm not exactly sure what results that's going to bring for us, but yeah, that was just a quick little update on Luna. The price is doing pretty well. I still think it can pump even more because people are pretty crazy on it, but once the bull market spikes, you might just see Luna actually go spike again. Should I buy this? Absolutely freaking not. If you buy this, most likely you're going to fall for the same exact scam twice. You're most likely a guy who also goes for those you send me one and I'll send you two type of schemes, because this is absolutely garbage. Most likely a lot of manipulation to get to keep it at this price. But long story short, no, definitely not buy. Yes, the price can surely go up a little bit, but I most likely go with some longs and shorts and actually start trading it rather than buying it on spot, because I don't want to have this. I purely just want to sell it for a profit to kind of recoup some of the losses from before. So yeah, will they ever save Luna Classic? No. I don't think so. There's no way. Will they ever save UST? No, I don't think so either. Makes no sense. They made a new chain to kind of forget about everything. I don't think they're going to save the old stuff. So garbage move, but it is what it is.